Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Yes, it is that Super Bowl Sunday that we're all so excited about. So I'm sure that you are relaxing, wearing your favorite jersey, getting all your appetizers prepared for the big night, the Patriots against the Eagles. And if you ask me who I'm rooting for, if I had to choose, I would say the Eagles. But may the best team win. So let's leave that there. I want to talk about the thought with Tamar, which today is influence produces impact. Influence produces impact. Now, you know how I like my rhyming words, so keen in because there will be more of those. Influence produces impact. So we all have influence, right? I have influence, you have influence, even your children have influence. You have influence, which produces impact. So don't ever think that you aren't influential. Don't ever think that you are ill-equipped or uneducated, or you're not tall enough, you're not good looking enough, you're not this, you're not that enough. Because you, as well as I, and everyone in this world, we all have influence. And we all influence for good or for bad. One way or the other, our influence is getting out there and making an impact in this world. So we all have the potential for profound, prolific, powerful impact in this world. Now, you've probably heard the question, at the end of your day, on your gravestone, what will you be known for? That's the question. It's ultimately pointing to your impact, to your legacy, to what you left behind, to your children, to the world around you. What will you be known for? I want to tell you a short story about one of my college professors. Back in the day, I had a paper that was due. And I remember just dedicating so much time and effort, and I really wanted to get the best grade possible. And I just remember thinking after I received my paper back that I was disappointed. I expected something and it didn't meet my expectation, the grade I received. And I felt so disappointed in the moment. And I remember thinking, wow, why does it come so easily for the other students around me? They're getting A's, some straight A's all the time. And it's as if they don't even study. And here I'm thinking, all the hard work, blood, sweat, tears, right, that we put into our work, especially in college, the sleepless nights where you go to bed at 2 and you get up at 4, 5. That was me anyway. But all those sleepless nights, all that hard work, and here it was that I did not meet my expectation, my hope, and the grade that I received. And so I go into the office of my professor and I sit down with him and I say, I just don't get it. To some, it comes so naturally. And to others, like myself, we have to work so hard and we may not even get an A. We may just get a B or even a C. And he looked at me and he said, you know what? You're right. You're right. To some, it comes naturally. To some, they don't even have to study. But for others like yourself, you have to work that much harder. You have to push that much harder. And that moment in time when I spoke with him and what he said was so simple, yet it made such a significant impact in my life. It was like a turning point for me, a mind shift. And he pointed out what I needed to do. If I wanted different results, if I wanted to achieve the goals that I wanted to meet, then that meant for me that I had to work that much harder. That began to shape and cultivate the work ethic that I have today. I do consider myself a hard worker, and things don't come easily to me. A lot of things don't. And so I decided at that point in time, and even before then, that I was going to work hard. And so for you, you can probably look back on your life and think about those people who have influenced you influenced you for good and for bad. Those people who were like cornerstones, who were like the influencers who you look up to, who you can pinpoint and say, you know what? And that point in time in my life, I made a decision because of that person's impact on my life. And so we can all think of people who have influenced for good and for bad. Think about those in this world. I can think of off the top of my head, well, there's Helen Keller, there's Anne Frank, Nelson Mandela, there's even Billy Graham, right? We all recognize those names because we remember the impact that they had in this world. And what about those who made horrible, bad impacts? Those people known as Hitler, Stalin, Charles Manson. We remember them, right? Because of the impact they made. And you can go anywhere in the world and you can ask anyone, you can mention any of those names. Why will they be recognized? Because of their influence, because of the impact that they left behind. It was so significant. So I want to encourage you in your life today, whatever season you're in, whatever you're going through, I want to remind you and speak to your spirit that you are significant, that you are influential, and that you are an influencer. You have the potential to influence for good. You have the power to influence for good. You have the prolific, abundant opportunity and availability in your life to influence for good. Let me just share with you that no matter how old or how young, no matter how uneducated or ill-equipped, or no matter how hard you have to try, you have to dig, you have to push, your time is now. Noah, he was 500 years old when he started to build the ark. And Abraham, he was 100 years old. And Sarah, 90 years old when they birthed Isaac, when God gave them Isaac. So think about how old they were. Jesus, he was in his 30s when he started to step into his calling, into his ministry. He was in his 30s. Now, why to this day is Jesus still relevant? It was because of his physical sacrifice, the passion, like the passion of the Christ that he showed on the cross, that we remember. All over the world, he is known for his influence, his sacrificial impact that he made. He's relevant for that very reason. And out of his physical sacrifice, out of his impact came the greatest news that we have today, which is salvation. So your life will be and is defined and shaped by your decisions, by your convictions, by your influence and impact. That is how your life is defined. Ultimately, it is your footprints in the sand and your fingerprints on the earth, which will be left behind to share with others. So what is an influential life? An influential life is one of sacrifice. It's one who influences for good, that will ultimately impact your personal world, but also the worlds around you. You've heard it said that be the change you want to see in the world. I say, impact the influence that you want to leave. Your time is now. I'm for you, I am with you, and I bless you. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it as we step into the influence that we have the ability to share with one another. God bless you.